What's going on, everybody? Got a rant for you this morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You might be watching across the world, but I thank you for being on here. I'm just jumping right on in this. Stephen A. Smith. Oh boy, this guy. He is a tool. He is a puppet. And the only reason he said half the crap he said tonight or yesterday when he said what he said about JuJu Watkins and Caitlin Clark is because he's bought and paid for shill. Because this guy's not watched a single game that JuJu Watkins has played. You want to know why I know this? Because, well, let's jump into the video first. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. We talk facts over feelings. Like the merch, facts over feelings. It finally came in. I am setting up a new store, but merch is coming in now. I think this hat looks pretty damn dope. I hope you like it. If you do want to hit the store and cop one, because it is definitely a nice hat. Nice stitching, the whole nine. But let's talk about this. For those of you who are new, I appreciate you jumping on. For those of you who were on the live last night, thank you for jumping on with me. We did over 3 hours, had some guest speakers on there with me. I'm going to be doing it like that from now on the Tuesday live. I will do other lives where I don't have guests or nothing like that, but I thought that was a different type of thing to do, and I like that style. Let's talk about this. Stephen A. Smith. Just let me show you what this buffoon said, because that's what he is a buffoon.
How impressive was Juju's performance?
She's spectacular. She's spectacular. And when are we gonna start talking about her the same way we talk about Caitlin Clark? I mean, you look at her skills, you look at what she is special. When are we gonna start doing that? Because let me tell you something. This sister's got game. Averaged 27 last year, averaging 24 this year. USC is winning. If you look at her skill sets, her ball handling ability, her driving ability, her shot making ability, her 3-point shooting shot making ability. This sister is something special. She is spectacular. Pull up Jay right there. She is the package, and she's been the package. We saw her coming last year, but now that Caitlin Clark is gone, we should be focusing on her even more so now. And just like I told you when Caitlin Clark was the golden goose, I said that's the golden goose. That didn't mean she was the best player in the world. It meant that she was pretty damn good and coming, okay? And the fans loved her. I'm saying the only question now about JuJu is, why is she not being shown more love? Because clearly she deserves it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I think the only reason is
He absolutely does.
Go ahead,
Ocho.
Go ahead.
Listen, I think
No, I was going to say because Stephen A., her game reminds me of Maya Moore. You remember Maya Moore, how
Yes,
she could take you off the bounce?
Of course.
The thing
Very
that
good.
separates the thing for me that separates JuJu from a lot of the other great players is her ability on defense. She can slide. She can block shots. She is the complete package on both sides of the basketball. She can score it. She can rebound it. She can facilitate. She plays outstanding defense. She really has no holes in her game. And you watch her in the offseason continuously working on her game to get better. She spends a lot of time with Phil Handy. She's practicing and going up against guys. She is the complete deal, Stephen A. You're absolutely right. And I think next year, because she got more years to play in college basketball, we're going to be talking about her as one of the historically great women's college basketball players, along with the Cheryl Swoops, the Breonna Stewart, the Maya Moores, the Cheryl Millers, Candace Parkers. She's going to be the Diana Taurasi's, Caitlin Clark. We're going to mention her in that same breath.
So you heard it. I'm glad we didn't have to listen to Chad Ochocinco speak, because he has nothing to say. He is literally, he's got nothing to say. So I'm glad that Shannon Sharp cut him off. Let's talk about what Stephen A. had to say there. Less of Shannon Sharp, because Shannon Sharp clearly is more prepared when he walks in the room than Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith prepares himself for one sport, and that is the NBA, whereas Shannon Sharp prepares himself for all sports when he's discussing them. Stephen A. Smith, to answer your question, why are people not talking about her? That's your job. That's your job to talk about her. You have not talked about her. This is the first time this season you've talked about her. If you have before this, I don't recall. So feel free to correct me if they have talked about her on First Take this season. Not last season, this season. Every single game JuJu Watkins plays is on Fox Sports. Every single game. She has been put on TV every single game that she has played on Fox. At least everyone that matters. All of her weekend games are on television. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about, my friend? First of all, let's look at basic numbers. She's decreased in points. Her field goal percentage is still under 43%. She is 6'2". Her three-point shooting, 33.9%, a smidge up from last season. She still shoots 6.2 threes per game, exactly the same number she shot last year. So she takes now a larger percentage of her shots from three-point range. Her rebounding numbers went down. Her assists went up like that. Her steals went down like that. Her blocks went up like that. She is not better this year than she was last year. She has better teammates, which is why USC is better. But she, as a player, she has not been better in 24-25 than she was in 23-24. And there are varying reasons for this. The first one being last year, there was no pressure. This year, the world's on her shoulders. Every move she makes is being watched. Yet you, Stephen A. Smith, haven't said one peeping word about this young woman over the last 5 months. Here you come. The conference tournaments are starting this week. March Madness starts in 2 weeks, and you are sitting here speaking for the first time about JuJu Watkins and asking the question, why haven't people talked about her? No, sir, my friend, why have you not talked about her? That's your job. You are a puppet. And Molly Curran, whenever she interjects her sly remarks, she should just shut the F up because she has no idea what she's talking about, just like you have no idea what you're talking about. You have not watched her play once this year, and if you have, you weren't really paying attention. Let's be honest. Did she win those 2 games versus UCLA? Absolutely. Did she also have a 12-game stretch in the Big Ten where she was playing like utter garbage? Absolutely. So you haven't been watching. You have not paid attention. She shot 35% from the field over a 12-game stretch in Big Ten play. And even this season, coupled around these two UCLA games, she shot 37.5%, 43.5%, and 35.7% from the field. UCLA, 46.2, UCLA, 45.5. The 3 in between, 37.5, 43.5, 35.7. That is how she has looked for a majority of the Big Ten season. I'm not even going to get into the way she's playing in games up 25 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I'm not even going there. But it's your job as an ESPN pundit to talk about her. She's not talked about on Get Up. She's not talked about on Speak. She's not talked about on any show, on any channel. Because the reality is, nobody gives a shit. That's the fact over your feelings. Nobody gives a shit. Caitlin Clark drew eyes. Caitlin Clark didn't need you to talk about her for people to pay attention. And that's the problem. You're shifting it. You want people to talk about, you want people to talk about her, but it seems like you want the media to do the talking. Guess what? Podcasters are talking about her. Podcasters have been talking about women's basketball. It's guys like you who get on a podium on your platform and sit here and act like you watch sports when you watch one sport. You watch the NBA. You watch NBA basketball. That's what you watch. And that's all you know. You don't know dick about boxing. You damn sure don't know dick about MMA. You damn sure don't know dick about NFL, which is why you bring in experts to tell you about it, because you don't know shit about the NFL. And we know you don't know shit about baseball. So what exactly do you know about women's basketball? Because you haven't watched them play. There are 6 legitimate National Player of the Year candidates right now. 6. We have the most wide open potential March Madness women's basketball tournament in my lifetime. There are at least 9 teams that have a legitimate chance to win the national championship, for which I'm going to do a video on that. At least 9. There has never been that over the last 35 years. I'm 47 years old. Since 1990, there has not been that. There's usually a power, maybe one right below and one right below. There might be 3. And realistically, for a good number of years, you knew that either UConn was going to win for a long time. Then you knew South Carolina was going to win. Before that, you knew Tennessee was going to win. Sprinkle in a few years, you've typically known who was going to win. Now, this year, we have no idea. It's wide open. And a guy like you who sits here and talks about how you have #1 rated TV show, well, then act like it, my friend. Act like you have the #1 TV show and actually talk about sports beyond the boring-ass NBA, watching a bunch of prima donnas who don't play hard. Here's the reality. JuJu Watkins' numbers comparatively to Flau'jae Johnson's numbers are basically identical. I'm going to tell you why. Flau'jae Johnson takes 15.2 shots per game. JuJu Watkins takes 18.3. Flau'jae Johnson shoots almost 4% better from the field than JuJu Watkins. Flau'jae takes 2.4 less threes per game, but shoots a higher percentage from 3. She also doesn't get to the free throw line as much as JuJu Watkins gets there, because JuJu Watkins gets just about every goddamn call. I've watched her play. She gets call after call after call. Hey, testament to her. She's attacking and they're giving her the calls, and she has the star power that Flau'jae Johnson realistically does not have at this point, unfortunately. Even though Flau'jae Johnson is the one that has a national championship ring. You do remember that. She did win one. She was on a team that won a national championship and averaged 11 points on that team. But let's be honest here. I'm looking at the numbers. Flau'jae's 5'10", JuJu's 6'2", yet JuJu averages 6.7 boards. Flau'jae averages 5.8 boards. Flau'jae Johnson is a better defensive player than JuJu Watkins, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, she's a better defensive player. She's not talked about in the same light. And why not? LSU is 27-4 and don't have a player taller than 6'2" in their rotation. To consider the fact that JuJu Watkins is playing guard or small forward at 6'2". These are the facts. There are at least 5 candidates, legitimately 6 probably, who have a legitimate claim to National Player of the Year this year. And yes, JuJu Watkins is one of them. And yet her numbers do not compare across the board to the other candidates. Her shooting percentage from the field and from 3 is by far the worst. Yet she plays, outside of Paige Beckers, probably on the most talented team in the country. Kiki Iriafen would start on any team in the nation. She's an All-American. They are loaded. USC this year is absolutely loaded. Loaded. They got weapons everywhere. They have better players across the board than LSU. But I guarantee you, LSU would give them one hell of a game. South Carolina got drop-kicked by UCLA. USC beat UCLA twice. Notre Dame lost to Texas Christian. Notre Dame beat USC. UConn smashed South Carolina. UConn lost to USC. USC lost to Iowa. UCLA beat Iowa. Texas beat South Carolina. South Carolina beat Texas. It's wide open. Yet this man is sitting here on his television show saying no one talks about JuJu Watkins. Let me give you a little bit more background because of your comments on this topic. And I'm doing this blindly, people, blindly. I have no idea what the answer will be here. I do not know. So if I end up being wrong, then so be it. But let's talk about it. Let's show. They played at home versus Illinois. At home, Illinois. I have to go to a different page here. These are the games that JuJu Watkins has played in. USC has played in this season. They played Illinois just before the game before UCLA at home, 9,000 people. Their home building seats over 10. They didn't sell out. They played Michigan State, a ranked Michigan State team the week before, a few days before that, 58-23. Remember, over 10,000 sells out that building. This is her home building. Washington, again, I'm doing this blindly, 79-13. I'm sorry, Washington was on the road. UCLA at home, they sold it out, obviously. Ohio State, ranked 8th in the country before that, 88-92. Minnesota, 52-43. Northwestern was a forfeit. I guess I don't know why. Penn State, 58-81. Nebraska, 56-62. Michigan, a ranked Michigan team, 8,043. Elon, 48-18. Fresno State, 3,081. Cal Baptist, 24-89. Okay, St. Louis was in a tournament outside of LA. Seton Hall was too. Notre Dame at home, 78-94. They lost that game. Santa Clara, 35-94. Cal Poly, 52-15. That's their home attendance. That's their home attendance. They can't sell out their building unless it's UCLA. Must-see athletes, Caitlin Clark, fill up their building. Fill up a building that seats over 15,000 people. Caitlin Clark just sold an exhibition game in Iowa against Brazil in 40 minutes. Sold out. Those tickets are going to cost a fortune. A ticket to that game will cost more than what it costs to go to the women's Final Four right now. I checked last night. I'm telling you people, this guy sits here on a podium and he embarrasses himself. It's hard to respect someone like Stephen A. Smith when, end of the day, he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. He's just wrong. How about I compare her numbers to Hannah Hidalgo's numbers right now? Remember, Hannah Hidalgo's 5'6". Hannah Hidalgo's averaging 24-2, 5.3 rebounds. She's 5'6", 3.8 assists. She shoots 46.4 from the field, 40.1 from three, 86.2 from the line. I mean, hey, those are the numbers. 3.7 steals. She leads the country in steals. And her team beat USC head-to-head, yet despite the fact that USC has way more talent overall. How about we look at Tanaya Latson's numbers? Tanaya Latson leads the country in scoring. She's averaging 25-4, 4.5 rebounds, 4.7 assists. Tanaya Latson is 5'8". She shoots 45.8%. That's 3 points better than JuJu Watkins. 35.5 from three. That's 2 points better than JuJu Watkins. 82.1% from the line. She takes actually a shot and a half more per game than Watkins. But again, her percentages are all better. They're all better. And if it's not for her, Florida State ain't shit. Like we can, I mean, Florida State, no one's talking about Florida State right now. Nobody. No one's talking about FSU. This is the type of nonsense that exists. They don't have the talent that USC has. She's doing this and she's 5'8". I don't even have to get into the Paige Beckers. I'm not even a Paige Beckers fan. But let's look at Paige Beckers' numbers, who initially was the crown child this year. 18.6, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists. She shoots 53.4% from the field. The one thing I will give hella credit to Paige Beckers, she is incredibly efficient. She doesn't take bad shots. 40.8% from three, 88.8% from the line. If Paige Beckers can be healthy, she can make an impact in the WNBA. Question is, will she stay healthy? Do I think she's the Caitlin Clark level player? No. She doesn't have that wow factor. But efficiently, she shoots 13.2 shots and averages 18.6 points. If she took the same amount of shots as JuJu Watkins does per game, she'd be averaging 27, 28. Like, what are we talking about? I might be on a tangent here, but Stephen A. Smith wants to know why people aren't talking about JuJu Watkins. Motherfucker, you're not. You're not talking about her. This is the first time you've opened your mouth. She doesn't draw. I mean, look at this game at Wisconsin. 6,285 people. What does the Kohl Center hold in Wisconsin? 17,000. It's a third empty. It's 2/3 empty. How about the the Iowa game did well because it was Iowa and it was Caitlin Clark Day. I already know that did well. How about Purdue? Purdue 75-43. What does the Mackey Arena hold? Mackey Arena 14,000, half empty. This is the best player in the country according to some of y'all. She can't draw flies to shit. Nobody cares about watching her. Indiana 12,534. What is the Simon Sickjot Arena hold? That probably is close to a sellout because they have a smaller building. Oh, 17,000. Still not full. Still 5,000 empty seats. How about at Maryland, a ranked top 10 team when they played? 14,734. What does the Xfinity Center hold? Xfinity Center holds 19,900 people, 5,000 empty seats. How about at Rutgers? 7358. Jersey Mike Arena. That holds 8,000. That was close. It's a Band-Aid box. Still didn't sell out. You got the point. You want to know why people aren't talking about her Stephen A. Smith? Because people aren't watching her Stephen A. Smith, despite the fact that damn near every game she's played that I can recall has been on television. She's the one player that seems to be on television damn near every week. Fox has gone out of its way to ensure she's on TV. Or whatever channels they are that is it True TV? True TV and I think they're all, I don't know if they're part. I've seen her on Fox. I've seen her on True TV. I've seen her on TV so many times this year. She's the one player who's been pushed like mad. You do not know what the fuck you're talking about because you do not watch basketball. Or at least you don't watch women's basketball. Facts over feelings. Get out your feelings. Get out of them. She's a really good player, and people aren't watching her. So get the fuck out of here with the bullshit. That's all I got. You leave a comment. You let me know your thoughts. Don't listen to dumb motherfuckers like him. Can't stand it. I cannot stand it. And do not ever bring Chad Ochocinco on a show if you want anything serious, because he is a clown. Everything's a joke to him. He will just go with whatever is told him because he doesn't prepare for nothing. I've listened to him on Nightcap. He's entertaining. He's funny. But you want actual info? Listen to Shannon Sharp. You'll get a lot more. That's all I got. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you. It's Rudy's Rant. Facts over feelings. I'm out.